The Robot Rose RT-01 is a knockoff of the Masterpiece 51 RC figure, except they gave her boobs. Starting off with the packaging, you get some nice artwork of RC holding her two blasters. Third-party companies really know what they're selling. This artwork was used in the RC fig pin. Some more nice artwork at the top. The figure does come packaged in vehicle mode, and honestly, it looks absolutely great. I got mine FTF Safari, used this code for 3% off. It's got that classic G1 retro futuristic look to it. Pretty accurate to G1 RC. This part is a little floppy though. The rest of it does look really great, and just like other RC figures I've reviewed in the past. I do love the color of pink on here. It's a very nice bubblegum pink. There is supposed to be an Autobot insignia here, but since this is a third-party figure, that's illegal. They did not add one. There are some included stickers, so you can add the Autobot insignia over here. The pinks and white all look really great on it. I like the translucent blue windshield, and you do get some nice car detail inside. Some really nice work done for the steering wheel and all up over here, as well as the car seats. Side profile of the vehicle mode looks pretty good. Love the curved look this vehicle mode has. Back of the vehicle mode kind of falls apart because you can see her legs, but nothing too big of a deal. And then underneath, you have the entire figure folded up in there. Most RC figures are like this, but no one really displays their figures like this. You're gonna display it like this, obviously. A very solid vehicle mode. Now for size comparisons, here it is next to the Studio Series B127, and I don't feel like transforming anything else, so we're gonna move on. Now the transformation on this figure from car mode to robot mode isn't that bad, but transforming it back into vehicle mode kind of sucks. It's difficult to get some of the pieces to tab in, especially these back parts, which I can no longer get to tab back in, and it's very frustrating. Now something that's really funny is that while the figure does come with it's upside down. While the figure does come with instructions in a fold out just like the original, the instructions just stop at number 26 and don't go on any further than that. If we flip it over, it's just instructions on the accessories. And this is just photocopied. As you can see, the quality on this is not the best. Now the first thing you want to do to transform this figure is to untab this part and take this gray door out. We then want to bring this piece up and then rotate it, bring all this up, push this back like so, and then flip this over. Now that already right there feels a bit over-engineered to me. I feel like that specific section could have been a bit more simplified. Not because I'm dumb and stupid, well actually, but regardless, we're gonna come over here, do the same thing on this side, and this is gonna be one of those videos, isn't it? We need to untab this, and it can be pretty stuck in there. Why is this so difficult? There we go. Totally didn't have to do it off camera. Also, goddamn. We're gonna take this back piece and bring it up there, and do the same on the other side. Fold up these car seats, push in these pieces, fold this down, pull this piece out, shift it this way, and then rotate that in. Same here. Now we can bring both of these pieces up here, if it'll let me. Now bring the wheel and this section down, and it should be underneath this white piece. Let's open these up so that way we can bring out the legs for the figure, straighten out her feet. We can now take the arms and bring them down. Take this front section of the car mode and bring it down. Don't tab it into place just yet. If you do, society will collapse. Oh, maybe that's a good thing. These wheels need to be folded in. Let's bring this forward so we can grab this windshield piece, and this is a little bit awkward to do. Bring it down, rotate it, and then try to push it in through the other side. It now needs to rest up here. Now these pink parts can fold in. Keep this top section up here. This white piece needs to tab into the back of the figure. Not too awkward to do, unlike my social skills with girls. Now we can take this and then bring it down. Tab the chest in. We can now readjust these pieces, and it doesn't seem like they fully tab in like they should. This is the downside of knockoffs. Now this part feels a little bit unnecessary. We need to fold in this piece, and it's a bit tricky to do, but once we do get it in, we can now bring this down. And I guess that is meant to hide the Autobot insignia on the official figure, but it still seems a bit unnecessary to me. I gotta say, transforming it kind of just feels like a tedious task. It's not super fun. I definitely feel like they could have simplified some things in the original Masterpiece figure. And now that we are in the robot mode, what the hell is wrong with your chest? This is ugly. Let's get rid of that. And let me grab that new chest piece.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
We can apply this chest piece on. It doesn't seem to fully tab in all the way, but you know, whatever. Now this looks so much better than what the original chest piece was. This one felt like it sat a little bit too low, making it look kind of awkward.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
And this new one is a lot more G1 accurate because the pink goes all the way up to the shoulders. The original figure does not come with this. This is only with the third-party figure. And she does come with the more human chest piece, which also only comes with this figure. I feel like only a weirdo would put this on their figure. I don't understand what kind of person would have figures like these. I find this figure to pair really well with my knockoff Masterpiece Hot Rod.
There he is! There's my favorite white boy!
And my oversized knockoff Masterpiece Optimus. Well, maybe that one's too big. Now right away, you might notice this figure has a really ugly backpack. The original Masterpiece has this, and honestly, most RC figures have this as well. I'll compare it to the Legends RC figure later. This one is just immensely bulky and looks very terrible. This backpack also makes it hard for this figure to stand. She does have a stand attachment at the back, literally right on her ass. Was this intentional? Was this figure designed by Mecha Z or something? That guy's a weirdo. I know some people aren't a big fan of the original Masterpiece figure, but I do kind of like this knockoff. The figure has a good size to it as well. She's really nice to hold and handle. I don't like the way I said that. And I'm pretty sure she does have some die-cast parts inside her, at least for some areas of the joints. Starting with the figure's head sculpt, it is a pretty decent head sculpt. She has her helmet with those very Princess Leia-like headpieces on the side. You can open this up and bring out a visor. She can now use that to scan how much of a degenerate you are, and me.
Holy fuck, his search history is just big sexy Optimus Prime pictures.
Not cool.
Some blue eyes with some black around them, just like the original. However, there does seem to be some paint spillage on my copy though, and she has some very kissable lips. Also, to me, it does seem like the face might be a little bit slimmer than the Masterpiece RC. Her neck has a purple color, and further down she has her collar, which isn't entirely G1 accurate. It is supposed to be a bit more square, but personally, I don't care. And once again, we have that new chest piece, which is so much better than the original. Going further along down, the original G1 RC design has a more boxy look in this area, while this is more curved. Once again, I personally do not care, but some people might prefer a more G1 accurate design. The rest of the legs are looking pretty good, with a little bit of panel working going on, not a whole lot. I did notice that this part is a different shade of white than the rest of the legs. Genuinely, I actually hate that. It's really off-putting, and once you notice it, you will not unnotice it. But as stated earlier, the rest of the legs are looking pretty good, and they're fairly basic. The arms are fairly simple and G1-like. Some basic accurate G1 details, and a pretty decent sculpt for the hands. I found these pieces to be a bit loose. They don't really stay in place very well. And here is how the rest of the figure looks from the back, and they really did curve this area out. Now, I do feel like this figure is in that weird area where it tries to be a little G1 accurate, but also it tries to be a little more sexy for some reason. Now, this figure comes with plenty of accessories. You get 4 different faces that all have mildly different varying expressions, and a very sus looking one. You get this piece so she can peg Hot Rod with it. Well, actually, this goes on the vehicle mode. A fairly simple blaster that is entirely pink. A smaller pistol-like blaster. This one is really nice. It has some extra paintwork on there. For some reason, my figure can't hold it. 0 out of 10. You also get a holster for the pink blaster, so that can go in there. And her final weapon is this longer rifle. The 2 different colors of pink really do bring it out a bit more. It also reminds me of a Star Wars blaster, and you get 3 different effects pieces. So in terms of the figure's articulation, this can move up and down. You can spin this all the way around, a side-to-side head tilt. Arms can move out all the way up there. These are on a hinge joint. The new chest piece does limit this movement a bit. You can get a full 360 rotation, a pretty good elbow bend, bicep rotation, hand rotation. There is a hinge joint on the hands, 2 on the fingers, and 2 on this individual finger. The thumb only has this 1 joint. You get some side-to-side waist movement, an ab crunch, a full 360 waist rotation. Legs can move forward, and they are on ratchet joints, and they go up pretty high because of the transformation, but it doesn't really hold in place. Legs can only spread about right there, and we can spread it like that as well. You get a very good knee bend, rotation at the leg, inward foot pivot, and a toe that bends upwards. The articulation is fine. The only problem is you're going to need a stand for most poses. We can give a comparison to other RC figures that I own, mainly Legends RC because I sold my Kingdom RC. As you can see, they're both somewhat similar in the fact that they have that G1 aesthetic because they're G1 figures.
No shit.
Both still have those pretty big backpacks, and both are still mainly shell formers. There is a definite proportional difference between the 2 figures. Mainly, this one seems a lot thicker. This one doesn't have those ugly wheels sticking out at the back. And here's a quick look at the rest of the legs. This is still a pretty good figure, by the way. And here she is next to Rise of the Beast RC, definitely a lot tinier. And here's a side-by-side of the figure with the CDL-03 cat, which is a clone of the Nicey figure. This one is definitely going for a more, very stylized design, while this one is going for a more stylized G1 design. The vehicle mode has that similar shape to it, but some very different designs. Overall, it isn't a bad figure. Definitely much cheaper than the official Masterpiece, and it comes with a better chest piece.